Hey, you possum peeps, today is Friday, May 10th, 2024, and you're watching the Weekly Paw. Hi, my name is Sean Patrick Hillman. I'm the editor-in-chief and co-publisher of Pet Lifestyles magazine. Losing a forever one is one of the hardest things for anyone to endure, whether it's by nature's calling or by a responsible decision to end their pain. Saying goodbye to a fur baby is extremely difficult for anyone. Look, I've been down this road over 20 times in my life. It never gets any easier. Well, today, one of my friends, fellow journalist Aly Walansky, lost her forever one, Scarlette, at the age of 16. You know, you've heard me talk about Aly before. I love that woman to pieces. I have so much respect for her. And when I saw her post, my heart just broke. I feel your heart break, Aly, and in honor of those beautiful babies that have passed over the Rainbow Bridge and Aly's support of the pet community, today's episode is dedicated to Scarlette Walansky. We all hope your trip over the Rainbow Bridge was a peaceful one. Aly, keep the faith, and know we were all here for you. On to the news. So let me get the quickies out of the way first. So check this out. Yes, that is our own Brioreo snoozing up a storm. So why am I showing you this? Well, as many of you know, I am a big fan of Doggijuana and Mauijuana, the organic catnip brand for dogs and cats, respectively. No, there's no CBD, there's no THC. It is literally just organic catnip. Now, Doggijuana has helped our Brioreo to have a much better sleep and a better digestive experience since being on it. And it's been a number of months now. All it takes is a quarter of a teaspoon each meal. So head over to the URL on your screen to learn more. You know, it's a great brand. It's a great company. They make incredible products. And the fact that she's been on this for so many months and we have seen a noticeable difference is extremely telling. So you should check that out. Since we're checking in on products that Brioreo has been playing with and testing for a while, we thought we'd see how the Rahr is doing. Now, unfortunately, Bri just stole the Rahr about 5 minutes ago, and I can't find it. She stole it right off my desk. Folks, let me tell you something. It is just brilliant. And you've heard me talk about it. You've seen her playing with it. You've seen the sample I've shown you. There's no damage to it. It's been months. This product is definitely the shiznit. It is the bee's knees. It is the bomb.com. Yeah, I highly recommend the Rahr to any dog parent, as it really is everything it purports itself to be. It's indestructible. They keep playing with it. They don't lose interest in it. It actually is an incredible product, but to call this thing a ball would be insulting. It is the Rahr. So head over to the URL on your screen to order yours today. And remember, for every Rahr that is purchased, one gets delivered to a shelter pet. So far this year, we've had biblical events happening all over the place. From random earthquakes in New York to wacky eclipses and rains even Noah and his ark might have problems with. Well, 2024 has been an interesting year so far, to say the very least. Now, we have another possible biblical level plague hitting the lower third of our country and some other locations in the Northeast this summer. It's the invasion of the dreaded cicadas. As usual, our packmates over at Best Friends Animal Society have some tips and tricks for you to weather the impending bug storm that is coming. Now, just to remind everybody, there are two types of cicadas that we typically see every 13 and 17 years, respectively. The brood 29 and the brood 13. Both are coming this summer. Now, let me put this into perspective for you. It's been 221 years since these broods have buzzed together by a location near you. And, you know, seeing cicadas, you know, the big beady red eyes, that very, very hard exoskeleton, it's a little creepy, I got to admit. Now, Best Friends, in their very typical, classy, amazing style, I love them. They put this in their press release. While these noisy little buggers are not harmful to humans, there are some precautions pet owners should take in order to keep dogs and cats safe. So, here we go. First one, time your walks. So, supervise and limit outdoor activities during the warmer times of the day where cicadas are more active. Remember, these bugs come out in the summer for a reason, okay? And again, it's every 13 and 17 respectively in terms of the years between when they show up in the world. So they're spending 13 and 17 years in the ground, gestating, growing, all of those things. They come out to mate, lay their eggs, boom, it's another 13 to 17. In this case, you got two sets coming at the same time. Now, if possible, this is the next point, if possible, keep dogs and cats away from areas with large cicada populations. Leash love. If walking a dog, keep them on a leash to prevent them from wandering off and potentially encountering and ingesting cicadas, which we're going to get into in a second. Next point, cicada-proof the yard. If you have a fenced yard, consider inspecting it for any gaps or holes where cicadas might enter. Guys, every winter, especially such a wet winter as what we've had, wood rots, holes develop in those fences. So you need to plug those up to make sure that, you're going to have cicadas in your backyard no matter what you do. Okay. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're minimizing that impact. So patching up small gaps can help cicadas, keep them out, and your pets safe. Now, this next point's a tough one because a lot of folks don't like the word muzzle. So we'll get into that in a second, but muzzle for a minute. In situations where people are unable to prevent their dogs from eating cicadas while in the yard, or if the dog isn't accustomed to being leashed, using a muzzle during potty breaks could be a temporary solution. However, this should only be considered if the dog has been properly trained to wear a muzzle. Folks, I have had pit bulls in my life. And I had one that, Kylie and I adopted that, we adopted him out of a fight ring when he was just, 4 months old. And unfortunately, the damage had already been done. And no amount of training can get self-defense out of a dog's head once they've been abused to that degree. And we're talking about a fight ring, so very different than owner abuse situations and things like that. Fight rings are designed to drive puppies to become the most violent creatures possible. And that's exactly what happened to Rolo. So we had to train him into a muzzle, and that was not a simple thing to do. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't that difficult. And once he got used to wearing a basket muzzle, it was just like putting on the leash. It's not a pleasant situation for anybody, especially for the dog. But in the context of what Best Friends is suggesting, it makes a lot of sense if you really think about it. Dogs, no matter what, can be mouthy. They want to grab at treats and things that look delicious to them and smell delicious. And sometimes you can't train them out of that behavior. So a temporary solution might be what they're suggesting. And in this context, it makes a lot of sense. While cicadas are not generally considered toxic to pets if ingested in small quantities, according to Dr. Becca Baronat, who is a veterinarian at Best Friends Animal Society, quote, their hard exoskeletons can pose a choking hazard or cause gastrointestinal upset if consumed in large amounts. Now, in addition, if a pet ingests several cicadas, they may exhibit symptoms including vomiting, diarrhea, excessive drooling, lethargy, lack of appetite, and abdominal discomfort. Now, according to Best Friends Vet, if you notice any of these symptoms, it's really important to monitor your pet closely and contact your vet for further guidance. We've had this conversation a handful of times with respect to vets and when you should call them and when you should be interacting with your veterinarian. This is one of those times because, unfortunately, with a 13 and 17-year gap, respectively, we don't know if anything has changed in the cicada population. We had COVID for a number of years. And I'm not saying COVID would have affected them in any way, shape, or form. But what I am saying is that was a very serious pandemic around the world. And when you look at genetics and you look at biology, the reality is that evolution does take place. So is there a bug-borne illness that might have been in the ground that's now become a part of them? I don't know. But you always want to make sure you're checking with your vet in this kind of context to make sure you have all the information you need in order to make an informed decision about how to treat your pet and how to protect your pet. Okay? So again, I'm not saying that the bug population's carrying viruses or anything like that. What I am saying is that nature has a funny way of changing the rules without telling us. So that being the case, stay in touch with your vet and ask them for advice with respect to when those bugs come out of the ground and what that means for your forever friend. All right. Now, we need to have a serious conversation about an event that's taking place on May 20th at the AKC Museum of the Dog, the Pet Gala. There's been a lot of confusion about this event in the press, much of it due to miscommunications stemming from the fashion designer behind the Pet Gala, Anthony Rubio. Now, I've personally received over 200 emails, phone calls, messages asking me to investigate this gala. Why? Unfortunately, some folks believe that Anthony was making a cash grab. Others were offended that with such a high ticket price, virtually, I think somebody wrote extortion level pricing in an email to me, and that there's no charity partner. All right. Now, I've known Anthony for a long time, so I will be extra kind here and not dive into my opinions or those of the folks who contacted me. However, when I see stories like this from Pix11 News, wherein the writer, Charlene Charles, couldn't even be bothered to do her most basic function, researching her own story, that's when I have a major issue. So as an example, nowhere in this story, or in any of the others for that matter, does it state that the $300 per price tag per ticket will help benefit the AKC Museum of the Dog. And just to be very clear, this is not the first pet gala in New York City. That honor is reserved for the NYU Faculty Housing Happenings organization, who mounted the first pet gala last year. Now, there would have been a second annual pet gala at NYU, but it was canceled. Why? The ongoing safety concerns with protests in the city that have started to turn violent. Now, additionally, there was a lot of confusion as to who the partners in this event are, what its true goal is, all of those things. Well, you guys know, OLSP, when mystery and intrigue are afoot with respect to our forever friends, I've just got to dig in. So, sorry, I'm having major allergy issues and I'm just all congested. I got in touch with Brandy Hunter, who's the VP of Communications and Public Relations at the American Kennel Club. Talk about, really dynamic, caring, very smart woman. This was a great conversation. She had said to me that, here's what's going on. First and foremost, Anthony Rubio is not in the midst of a cash grab. This event is, in fact, benefiting the AKC Museum of the Dog. Tickets are tax deductible. Now, it's not benefiting, and she was very clear about this, it's not benefiting it's not benefiting the American Kennel Club or any of their subsidiaries or partners. Strictly the museum, which does house the largest collection of canine art in the country. Now, I may not be a fan of puppy couture. Actually, I think getting your dog or cat dressed up with any regularity, I think it's almost abusive. It's not, but you understand where I'm coming from. Look, I have friends that love to wear matching outfits with their dogs all the time. And I say to their faces, guys, you really need to let your dog just be a dog and live their best life. They're not a doll you play dress up with, guys. Yes, I am that blunt. However, there is always a time and place for doggy costuming and dress up, such as a special event or a gotcha day, like that kind of thing. So I get dressing them up. I just don't get dressing them up in couture that costs an arm and a leg or an arm and a paw. And I also don't get dressing them up with a heavy amount of frequency. Bree's birthday, her gotcha day, that kind of thing I get. But on a weekly basis, no. It just makes no sense to me at all, okay? That doesn't mean there aren't others out there, like my dear friend Stacy McCoskey, who is one of the most beautiful, loving dog moms out there. And she loves dressing them up. I mean, she loves her dress routine. Same with my friend Revital Simmons. They're two of the loveliest and most loyal friends anyone could ask for. So if you're interested in pet couture or just want to help a great museum, head over to the URL on your screen to learn more and purchase tickets. Definitely a worthwhile cause. We have a lot of new products being sent to us over the course of the next couple of weeks from brands like Jolly Pet, WeAway, Petsies, SHERPA Pet, Loving Pet Products, TrackiPet, Better Bone, God, it just keeps going, Clorox Air Purifier, and more. Oh, before I forget, of course, our friends at Doggijuana are sending over some amazing stuff that we should have in the next week or two. So, lots to review and talk about over the next month. Now, we're going to get into Furry Friday in a moment, but I wanted to follow up on a story we did about a month ago with respect to Maui homeless pets. Now, you may recall all of these animals that were made homeless because of the fires in Maui last year. And you may also remember that the Mana Up event, the Aloha Market I went to, the pop-up down at Shopify New York space in Soho, there were a lot of vendors from Maui that I spoke with. So many were helping Maui Humane and Kauai Humane. Well, now the Kauai Humane has an interesting offer for you folks. Off-island adoptions. So check this out. As you can see the flyer on your screen, Kauai Humane Society is thrilled to announce an extraordinary opportunity for dog lovers far and wide. Thanks to a generous sponsorship, they are delighted to present free off-island adoptions now through May 11th. So this came out, I don't know, maybe a week ago. It ends tomorrow, so you guys better jump on this pretty quickly. This extraordinary initiative means that if adoptions are processed within this limited time frame, individuals can warmly welcome their Kauai canine companion to the mainland without any financial strain. It's their way of spreading love and joy, one paw at a time. Visitors are encouraged to explore the Kauai Humane Society website to discover the charming faces of their adoptable dogs. Once the perfect match is found, patrons can submit their applications, and a dedicated Kauai Humane Society team will provide comprehensive guidance through every stage of the new pet's travel process. So this is important. Prospective adopters are advised to act promptly, particularly if they reside in regions where summer temperatures can soar. Now, many airports do in fact enforce heat embargoes, which restricts animal cargo shipments when temperatures exceed 85 degrees. To ensure there's a seamless transition for this furry friend, seizing this opportunity before heat becomes a concern is recommended. So they're really pushing this out, and the temperatures are already starting to go up, even though it's only May 10th. Now, a list of airports currently under heat embargoes includes Austin, Dallas, Fort Lauderdale, Fresno, Las Vegas, Miami, Orlando, Phoenix, and Sacramento. For individuals whose hometowns are on that list, there's no need to be concerned. The compassionate team at Kauai Humane is prepared to explore alternative routes to facilitate the union with their new companion. So head over to the website on your screen to learn more, and you have until end of day tomorrow. Talk about a pawsome program, huh? They've got somebody who's sponsoring it and willing to fight the good fight and get you, your forever friend, straight from Hawaii. All right, welcome to this week's Furry Friday. This is the part of the episode where we talk about adoptables and the shelter or rescue they come from. Well, this week, in lieu of adoptables, I wanted to tackle the 800-pound gorilla in the room, adoption overall. And there is no better way to tackle this topic than to refer to our packmates over at Best Friends Animal Society. Remember, and in the interest of full disclosure, Best Friends Animal Society's CEO, Julie Castle, was on the cover of Pet Lifestyles magazine's November issue last year, and we talk about them all the time. Now, I've known Julie for a long time, and I gotta tell you, I have nothing but the utmost love and respect for this pawsome woman and the work she has put into making their mission of a no-kill nation by 2025 a reality. Julie is one of my absolute favorite people in the community. Caring, loving, brilliant, and determined to save them all. And I know this isn't going to come as a surprise to any of you. Best Friends is my absolute favorite animal advocacy and nonprofit in the animal community. Brilliant organization with so much going on. I mean, it's crazy how much they have happening. And it's a good crazy, for sure. As an example, about 11 days ago, on April 30th, Best Friends launched their new, quote, Bring Love Home campaign. Gotta love that. Bring love home. You know, I say that almost every time we've adopted a pet. And it's true. It comes at a time when, unfortunately, pet adoption has been steadily declining over the last 5 years, with more people acquiring pets from breeders and pet stores, believe it or not. So not only are we faced with inflationary issues that are causing return rates to go up at shelters and rescues, you've got adoption rates going up, and I have to imagine, even though I don't really sit in this part of the world, breeders and pet store sales, I have to imagine they've been affected as well. But according to recent pet sheltering data from Best Friends, 2.3 million dogs and cats were adopted in 2023. That's 345,000 fewer adoptions than just 4 years ago in 2019. Now, with a net result of 415,000 adoptable dogs and cats being killed in shelters last year, that's a really exorbitantly high number, especially when you factor in that prior to the pandemic, we were getting so many notices that shelters and rescues were actually running out of population. Now, they're packed to the walls. Quote, roughly 7 million people in America are planning to acquire a pet this year. And if just 6% more people chose to adopt versus purchase their pets, we would end the killing of dogs and cats in our nation's shelters. Pets don't belong in shelters. They belong at home. Our Bring Love Home campaign is designed to bring awareness to dogs and cats still being killed in U.S. shelters simply because they don't have safe places to call home. And that was Julie Castle, CEO of Best Friends Animal Society. You know, on April 30th, beginning on April 30th, the campaign invites pet lovers nationwide to submit videos and photos of their dogs and cats at home for a chance for their pets to be featured in Best Friends' national campaign. They launched this campaign, now check this out. They launched this campaign with a pop-up home in the middle of New York City. Check it out, right in the middle of Times Square, complete with a living room and backyard filled with adoptable dogs. Now, starting the day of the activation and continuing throughout this month as well as next month in June, adoption fees at all Best Friends locations will be covered, thanks to Blue Buffalo and Walmart. Quote, we hope our new campaign will bring attention to all the wonderful dogs and cats sitting in shelters waiting to go home. This is a highly solvable issue that we know people care about. If we can just get more animal lovers to help in some way, to adopt their next pet, advocate for the animals, or donate, we can make this country a better place for our best friends. And of course, that was again by Julie. Look, I encourage each and every one of you to take advantage of such a pawsome offer from Blue Buffalo and Walmart. Bearing in mind, I have a serious connection to Blue Buffalo and a bias about Blue Buffalo because this is always a tough topic for me to talk about. Blue Buffalo is their very founding was based on the owners, the gentleman who founded Blue Buffalo. His dog Blue died of cancer. And they started Pet Cancer Awareness, which is, protect our pets, is what this bracelet says. I've worn it on my wrist every day for the last decade. Literally. I have extras in case this one snaps. I mean, I've gone through quite a few over the last number of years. But Pet Cancer Awareness, to me, is a vital cause and something that really hits close to home. Kylie and I had Snickers and Rolo, and we lost both of them to cancer. So, sorry. Blue Buffalo is a great company, and them stepping in is not a surprise at all. Literally, at all. Same with Walmart. They do great things in the pet space. Now, Pet Cancer Awareness is a big tent pole for Blue Buffalo. It was founded on the premise that eating healthier, better food will help stem the tide of pet cancer. And you know what? They're 100% correct. And remember, head over to Best Friends' website to learn more about what they do, why they do it, and how we can all help. Adopt, foster, volunteer, donate. Every little bit of support helps. Even just sharing this video helps. As a matter of fact, I encourage each and every one of you, that little button that's down below that says share, hit it. The more people that know about Best Friends, their mission, why they're doing what they're doing, the more animals we can save. All right. Welcome to this week's TGI Furry. It's the part of the episode where we show you a few memes we found throughout the week to hopefully end the episode on a smile or a laugh. And hopefully we have done just that. All right, folks, I'm out of time. Stay pawsome, peeps. We'll see you next week.